Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gas is on the Right. No, he's got a chance to win the race.
I think that might have been like one of the cleanest hits I've ever seen in a NASCAR fight.
Side Rick. Yeah, the back. Oh, into the wall hard goes Ryan Blaney.
And he finally came to a stop, and it was just dead silent.
I said this last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating it. Live with the decisions you make. Drive by the decisions you make. Don't change up your style, but also just don't be dumb. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Gas is on the Right podcast, Daytona 500 edition. President's Day 500 edition, if you actually want to look at it the right way. So, guys, Daytona weekend, another wonderful weather for us. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah. Rain 2, NASCAR having scheduled events 0.
100%. 100% on that end.
Well, I guess really 3-0 if you count the Xfinity. Well, 4-0 because the ARCA series got moved too.
It continues building up and up.
Yeah, rain 4, NASCAR 0.
I tell you what, she ruined my Sunday. 9 o'clock in the morning when it was announced, she woke me up. She's like, "Hey, no race today." And I was like, "You're kidding me. You got to be kidding me."
I'm glad they did it early because sometimes, they'll just wait all day and see if anything's going to clear up. But I think there's enough rain in the forecast where they're like, all right, there's no way this happens today. Go home.
So, yeah, it was one of those unfortunate events at that point. So, but thankful to NASCAR for actually rescheduling it early enough and promoting it well enough for Monday.
Yeah, what did you say the viewership was Monday? 6 million?
6 million per Adam Stern. So that's the best Monday Daytona 500 since 2020, which was 7.3. But they also had Donald Trump there, so that kind of probably played a factor in that. And the last rain delayed race was 4.18. So, and that was 2021. So, an uptick in viewership. I saw some stats that they're thinking some of it came from the Netflix show and the hype from the Netflix show. So, really good. Well promoted by Fox as well. Super Bowl ads, everything.
Yeah, and William Byron's on his media tour this week, so that'll help a lot. And I know I saw Dale Jr. and Ryan Blaney were on the Kelly Clarkson show.
And then you also had William Byron was on is it Good Morning America that's on WSB? Or
yeah, he went on Good Morning America
with what is it? Kelly and Mark, I think it is.
I think it was Kelly.
He's on a bunch
Kelly
of different
and
shows
Mark.
right now.
I don't think he went on Good Morning America, but I may be wrong. But yeah, no, they definitely did a interview with him on Tuesday morning.
I still remember that show as Regis and Kelly.
Yeah. Regis and Kelly.
Basically the spinoff of it. So, I see Mr. Harper in the chat. Hey, buddy. And yes, we will be at Atlanta this weekend, Sunday. So look for the shirts. You'll find us. But yeah, a lot of good publicity coming out of this. And what's interesting, and I'm just going to kind of jump to this, is Byron. He's kind of the first of his kind, so to speak. Because he didn't come up the traditional way of legends, carts, bandoleros.
He taught himself how to race iRacing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a video game.
Yeah, there's still hope for us. But
I knew there was hope for us when we went to Talladega for my bachelor party, and I won us a trip to Phoenix.
There was hope for
I'm
you.
going to be honest, I did not believe Alan when he called me and told me that you did that. I was like, he did?
Yeah. Best trip. So, Phoenix is a blast. If you haven't been, we'll go.
Eventually.
So.
Yeah, if I'm going again, it's because I won something.
Yeah. So I can't imagine how much it cost to pay for
Remember
that
the
trip.
flight was like $1,000 or something
Yeah.
for both of our flight tickets. I was like, not me,
Yeah.
buddy.
Not counting the
I don't
if
want to
you
go that
go the
bad. I'll
VIP
drive.
side of it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not driving that either. But yeah, so you got Byron though, yeah, coming from sim and everything, and then the 6 wins last year, coming into this year strong with a Daytona 500. Really think he's picking up where he left off last year.
I think he's probably picking up a little bit better than he left off because in the round of 8 is where he kind of really fell off, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's picking up if you don't include the round of 8 in the championship weekend.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he's posed for a big year. I mean, a big year last year. Unfortunately, where they normally have the summer slump, they had a playoff slump. So that was not really beneficial to them. But otherwise, I guess let's dive into the 500. So what we got first on the to-do list?
There's
Emily?
so much to dig into on the 500. Like, first, Daniel almost ruined it for us.
Facts.
I couldn't help it because I thought they'd already started, and because they were watching it late, and mine and Emily's picks both wrecked on lap 6, and I was like, "You have got to be freaking kidding me!" We just talked about how when Harrison Burton's at the front, something always out of his control happens, and he gets wrecked, and it only took 6 freaking laps for him to get taken out.
Yeah, it did not take long.
Gosh, I wanted to
Dude,
punch a hole in my TV. I was like, "You've got to be freaking kidding
If
me!"
I was Harrison, I would have been going after somebody after that. It'd be like, you wrecked me in the 6th lap. 6 laps.
Leave it to Brad Keselowski to
Right.
wreck somebody on lap 6.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that sent Harrison Burton for the first blowover in the next gen. So
Yeah.
that was a push off of Keselowski's bumper as well. So, I mean,
Poor Harrison. Poor
he
Harrison,
can't catch
man.
a break, dude. Like, he cannot catch a break to save his
Speaking
life.
of that, we will be doing a splash and go later this week about Harrison Burton.
Yes. So stay tuned for that Splash and Go with Harrison Burton called. It'll be coming out as Bad Luck Burton for Splash and Go. So stay tuned for that.
Poor kid. I just...
So Emily's been racking stats. So we will be talking about his just unfortunate series of events.
I wonder how many DNFs he has.
A lot, yeah. A lot more than he probably should. And my whole thing is I want to know the difference between crashes that he's at fault versus what he's been sucked into.
I was going to say, I've seen a lot that he's been sucked
I'd say probably
into.
about 15% are his own doing.
I would agree
I'd
with
agree.
that.
So,
Because you don't really see him spinning out on his own or hitting the wall or anything crazy or roughing anybody up. He minds his business and runs his own race, and it's always somebody else.
yeah, it's very, very common in that factor. So,
Mr. Harper said, come on, leave my boy Brad alone.
I mean, we would
Should
leave
we?
Brad alone if he wasn't the cause of. Well, you can't give him the big one. The big one wasn't. He was a part of it, but it wasn't really his fault.
The big
But,
one.
like, you gotta love Brad, but I tell you what, he's very aggressive when it comes to speedways. So,
Let's start with Carl Edwards, 2009, at Talladega.
catch fence.
There you
So,
go.
Yep.
And then Carl
list
Edwards
goes on.
back to Brad, flipping him into a catch fence. Talking about, like, the perfect payback, too. You put me in a catch fence, I put you in a catch fence.
How many cautions did we end up having? Was there only 2?
There's 5,
There was
including
5?
stage
That
cautions.
was including stages, so 2 for
2.
calls.
I guess I was thinking more, yeah.
3.
3, where was the third?
Sorry, yeah, 3 for calls because there's only 2
The
stages.
one that ended the race.
Yeah,
And Harrison's.
and
What am I
And then
leaving
the
out?
big one with the big one.
You got
The
Harrison's,
big one.
Mm-hmm.
the big
the one
one,
that ended the race.
and the one,
And the one on lap 6 with Harrison.
You're right.
Yeah. I tell you what, into the race, NASCAR's caution timing.
I didn't really specify the rule. Is it when they push the button or when the lights come on? Because that is the determinant factor on Byron or Bowman.
Ask Kyle Busch last year.
And they haven't really specified. They just said it,
I feel like
put a
they
picture
go
out
with
and said
whatever
this
they
is what.
feel like.
Yeah, they put a picture out and said this is what determined it. And I was like, okay, but what was the determining factor? Is that when the button was pushed, or is that when the lights were coming on?
Yeah, well, the other thing is it the scoring loop? Because I'm pretty sure that's what decided the last year's 500, if I'm correct, right? It came back to the scoring loop at the time.
That's
feel
what I
like
think
NASCAR
Bubba said it
just
on
kinda
DBC.
Whatever.
They used to have, when the
Just about.
caution would come out on the last lap, they had like a segment line on the back straightaway that you'd race to. And I wonder, I don't know how to remedy that, because when people are wrecking and coming back up the track like that, you kind of want everybody to slow down, not keep racing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how do you remedy that situation? Or is it just something that we get to complain about every time? You know?
I feel like it may be something we just get to complain about. So, because right now, I mean, at the line, Byron was winning. The picture they posted, Byron was winning. But the video that you see
it's
the
not.
48 out front. Oh, we may have an answer.
Let's see.
Well, Mr. Harper's more versed than we are.
Listen to Door Bumper Clear and the Teardown with Jeff Gluck and got 2 different answers, so who knows?
Oh.
So we
cool.
still don't know.
So we're all on the same page.
We're all...
Great. I love it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the difference would have been if you let the 48 win versus the 24, being they're both Hendrick cars. But
I guess just...
Well, it's scripted either way since a Hendrick car won.
oh yeah, 100%. Not for the fact that basically every other car in the field wrecked out and you had Hendrick in the top 3.
Dude, that big one was like... I was sitting there watching it and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you put it at the front of the field. I mean, what are you going to do? So do we want to go ahead and break that down real quick?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as the truck race or the ARCA race, but...
Yeah.
I did not get to watch the truck race, but from the small clips I saw and from what you told me, it was just a wreck fest.
From you watching it while we were recording,
yeah, you were like,
gave us
hold
enough
on,
insight.
someone's flipping.
You knew everything you needed to know if you watched last week's video of we recorded during the truck race, and I was watching it, and I was just in about every 5 minutes when the caution would come out after 2 laps of green flag racing, I was like, every 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was over the camera, just looking over, look back, look over, look back.
At one point, he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Someone's flipping."
Yeah, somebody's upside down.
Someone's upside
Just give me a
down.
second.
And he's upside down.
So, well, let's
Fire.
do y'all want to jump into that the big one with 10 to go? We'll break down the video a little bit.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh.
So let's go ahead.
I was supposed to say that's a lot to.
Let me get my mouse turned on. It'll be much easier to do with the mouse. Let's see here. So this will be the video.
They can't get it rid of. Oh, Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland,
Just
Truex,
everything
Hamlin,
getting torn
and
up
more.
there. Hey, there's
All
my
those
pick.
Emerging.
So
They can't get it rid of.
So it looks like right here, Bowman, and I think in Bowman's interview he tried to blame, I think, Suarez for a push, but like nobody's touching him.
Where is he? I was supposed to say like, where is he?
So you have that, and then he gets. The crazy thing is he gets the race winner Squirrely, who then just hooks Brad somehow by the grace of Busch Beer, does not take out Chastain.
By the grace of Busch Beer. He was right there, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was right there on him. Sorry, I think we had a little bit of an audio mess up there. Daniel, go ahead and say something for me real quick, buddy.
Ooh.
Yeah, my bad on that. But, yeah, so... But what you're saying, he was right there, like, from what, I think... From what we heard in the broadcast is, it was Kevin Harvick said if there's not really any crown to that bumper, he'd have probably turned Chastain. But then you got him up. Blaney takes another shot at Daytona.
Poor Blaney, man.
Third race in a row.
Talk about can't catch a break.
Facts. So, and then from there, we'll go to the next frame.
You just have the entire field.
Just chaos. So, Denny's podcast, he talked about he put himself in the top lane for that security of being close to the fence for when it happens, so you don't turn up into the fence. But unfortunately for him, it's really, he said, and I agree with this, probably about 60 to 70% of the bottom lane made it out, and the middle lane probably about 40 to 50%, but if you're in the top lane, you were basically done for. So from there, we will fast forward to chaos. So, and funny thing is, you see Chase Elliott right there, second car up from the bottom.
I have no idea how he made it through unscathed.
And somehow, just full on Lightning McQueen through that wreck.
Yeah.
Good job.
So from there, we'll go forward again to the next clip, and you just have tire smoke. Again, you have a car on his inside right there, and it looks like Cindric on his inside.
I'm pretty sure they rubbed doors, but that's probably about the only damage the two of them got from that.
Yeah. And then we'll fast forward to the next frame. Let's see here.
Dude, it's just the entire field.
Just the whole entire top line demolished. You see Cindric and Chaser through. Let's see. Moving forward. Somehow Anthony Alfredo looks like he got through it as well.
No, and then he ends up turned around at some point.
Yeah, that's him at the grass, not in the grass, but at the grass. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll go to the next view. So,
and then you see Anthony Alfredo backwards.
Yep. Somehow he's turned around, the car right there at the yellow lines on the apron side of things. Just absolute mayhem throughout. So
we should have had Allstate
again. And then emerging from the cloud of smoke, my pick. Somehow not breaking
unscathed.
a toe link. So, but we'll watch it one more time at speed. And just, yeah, guys.
Keselowski gets turned by William
Gotta
Byron.
love the big one with
Blaney
10 to go. I mean,
yeah, when Briscoe came up right there, I don't know how he didn't take Cindric and Elliott out with him.
Dude, I don't either. So talk about checking up and listening to your spotters. So I mean, what a wreck. So fortunately, no.
Well, I mean, with Cindric and Elliott right there, that was no spotter help. That was just instinct because that happened so fast. I heard on Chase Elliott's radio, he was like, "I don't know how you made it through that." And he said, "Yeah, me neither."
Yeah, no, I heard that.
Yeah. So, well, so that was a breakdown of the big one right there, and then you have your end of the race wreck. So with the.
Do you have a video of that one?
And
unfortunately, I was not able to get a good video of that one uploaded in time for this podcast.
That one was a product of a couple things. That was LaJoy has talked several times on his podcast about how Jimmy Johnson told him one time that people get lazy in the tri-oval, and that's a great place to pass. And for several laps, Austin Cindric was lazy in the tri-oval, and LaJoy saw that car length, and he was like, "All right, I'm going to take it." And Cindric tried to block and then came back up. At the same time, Chastain was coming back down, and then boom, there they go.
Yep. So, and
that was basically the premise of that one. And then they came back up the track, and NASCAR was like, "Caution, caution, caution, caution." And then we don't know what determined the scoring loop, but that's when they called the caution.
Button, light, scoring loop. Who knows? So
which
only
one
NASCAR.
are we paying attention to? We'll pick.
Yeah. I did like Chastain.
And then in the Xfinity race, the same thing happened at the end of the Xfinity race, and they kind of let it go for a second. And I was like,
let it pan out.
Didn't y'all just throw the caution immediately on the other one, and y'all just kind of let this play out a little bit? But it didn't matter.
Twitter had attacked them for like 3 hours prior to that, so that's probably why that one.
But it didn't matter because everybody knew Austin Hill was going to win again in the Xfinity race. He just whips their butt every time they go there.
Yeah,
unless somebody wrecks. Well, hell, he got wrecked in that one and still ended up winning with damage.
Yeah. So if you're going to pick an Xfinity winner for Atlanta, Austin Hill. So
I'd put my money on that.
Tweet at him, make a deal. If you win Atlanta, will you come do a interview? So,
One thing that I've heard a lot which no one really knows a solution is how they're saving fuel. Because I know at one point, Blaney, Bell, and Hemrick, they didn't pit after everybody else pitted on a caution. And they were in the front running like 40% throttle, just holding both lanes even with each other. And Cliff Daniels came on the radio and he's like, these guys are running half throttle. And he's like, we're just going to use it to our advantage because they're going to have to pit. And at this rate, we're not going to have to. And eventually Blaney's crew chief came on the radio and he said, what are we doing? Like, we got to go. And then they came back. And that, of course, that was during commercial. And then you come back from commercial and the field spread out because some people started going 100% and everybody's like, whoa, we got to go.
Yeah, I think Emily actually has a quote from...
I have a little snippet of an article.
A snippet from SiriusXM this morning when it comes to the fuel saving.
Yes. So this has Elton Sawyer in it. Said they're taking a much deeper dive into the fuel saving strategy of Cup teams employed during the Daytona 500. Said that ultimately we want to drop the green flag on the race, and they're racing as hard as they can until they drop the checkered flag. There's some strategy in between there, and we will definitely take a much deeper dive into the situation and the strategy that goes into it. So he didn't really say much, I feel like, on...
Yeah, well, it's weird because the way the stages are broke up at Daytona, it's pretty even. It's like 66, 65, 65, 65 or something like that, to where they're all pretty much the same. So unless you change the stages to 40, 40, 80, or
80,
something different to where there's no, either the first two stages it's a full tank of gas to where you can run wide open the whole time, and then in the second stage you're going to need to top off right in the middle after running wide open the whole time. I don't know how you remedy that without either running a shorter race or changing the stages. Kind of weird. Yeah.
So there's a lot of band-aids for a bullet hole that I've seen. So some have been restricting fuel cells, some has been allowing the gas cans to flow more, but none of it really fixes a problem. It just kind of remedies slightly, but then it could end up being more of a problem in the future. Right. So I mean, the only fix I could think, and this is what everybody says, is probably aero, because of how the cars have so much drag that you can, when you get up to a car and you get in the bubble, and it's not like the bubble that the Gen 6 had, to where when you hit the bubble, you can hit the bubble and push them. When you're up on a car, both of y'all can run 50 to 70% throttle and still be at speed. And not be really
they weren't even at speed, because remember, AJ Allmendinger had a pass-through penalty or something, and by himself was running quicker than the pack was when Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell were side by side saving a ton of fuel. And AJ Allmendinger is catching them by himself. That doesn't need to be happening. You know, that's watering down the product. That's just parade laps slower than your qualifying laps, you know?
Yeah. Which, I mean, once those guys realized, like, hey, we messed up, then it became racing and it was good. But there's still... I mean, my only thought is you take out the stage cautions. Because then it's not broken down to run to a stage, get a restart. You got to race, and you got to run your own strategy. So, and while at road courses it didn't work as well, I think at super speedways it could work better. So, because then you got to figure out when to pit, how to pit. You got to figure out the best way to... Yeah, the wreck will reset the field, but hell, you can't guess a wreck versus you're going to have a caution at lap 60.
Yeah, because even after the pit stops, it wasn't like everybody was spread out. They all ended up getting back together and being in a big pack. I mean, there was a couple people that had to take more fuel because they were at the front of the pack. So I know in the second stage it was Blaney, and then in the final stage it was LaJoy. He had to take more fuel and got left. But
does that also mean all pits are going to be green flag if they were to take away
If they took away the stage cautions, they'd be mostly green flag, except for when you actually had a natural caution.
Right.
Well, and I mean,
I
a
mean, I
lot
feel
of
like
times
that's
a lot of times the cautions at super speedways come getting when people leave the pack getting on the pit road. And I mean,
And-
how many times have you seen it's either like Chase Briscoe or Tyler Reddick, it seems, come in hot and end up hitting somebody or spinning out themselves
That was
on pit
literally my
road.
first race.
exactly.
All
Chase
of my
Briscoe was the
first
first
race.
one.
Hmm.
So at Talladega last
And
year.
just watch them wreck.
So I mean, I feel like if you take away the scheduled cautions at super speedways, you take away their attempt to have a fuel saving strategy. Because then, unless the whole field decides to employ it, then they can't do it. But there's also at that point no reason to employ it either.
And then it comes to a point, and I think tires would be a thing too, because really nobody's changing tires throughout the whole race.
Yeah, they're changing tires at the stages.
Unless it's just at the stage breaks. So if you make a tire that wears more at Daytona, I think that'll change it too, and that'll help spread people out a little bit to where they're not as close to each other as they are, to where you're getting more runs, because some people are going to be having to lift in the corners due to handling and stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I don't know. I don't think the product's bad enough to change, because the problem is it looks good on TV, you know.
Oh, it looks great. Because I mean, once
Yeah,
they
it
get
looks
racy,
really good
they
on
get
TV.
really racy. So I mean, you look at each finish. I mean, that is a good question. That is a good question. Sorry,
Go ahead.
got sidetracked.
No, go ahead. What's the question?
Bubba Wallace chimed in on DBC and said that during that this year, wondered if that's why Toyotas were no shows during time trials. To not show their hand. It's a possibility, because Toyotas were fast, by the way. Toyotas were.
I don't know, because you know they showed their tachometer and they were throttled down the whole time. I don't know if they were not showing their hand or something, but I mean, because to me it just looked like they were throttled down the whole time. At least that's what when they were showing the throttle percentage, no one was not 100% the whole time. It was
Right.
just really dependent on the launch that you got off pit road and how much speed you're able to build up the first lap into the second lap. So I don't know. I don't think anybody was hiding anything, because in the 2 years prior, track position's been so important that you don't really want to start in the back. You want to start as close to the front as you can and try and hold that track position, because they do end up just parade lapping around saving fuel, you know? So I
Right.
don't think they were really hiding anything like they would in years past. I think that was just their bodies. And like we talked about last Friday when we recorded the episode, I think a lot of it had to do that they were probably more trimmed out towards handling versus speed, because you saw in the year prior in the duel when Alex Bowman got the pole, in the first 2 laps, his car was handling so poorly because of how they had it trimmed out for speed that he went straight to the back.
Right.
That wasn't the case with Joey Logano. His car was right, but
Yeah.
I think they went more on the handling versus outright speed side, because it doesn't matter when you're in the draft. Handling is more important in the draft than your outright speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So moving into another fan question that we have. We had this one on TikTok from Daniel Harper again. Said,
Number 1 fan.
I was about to say. What do y'all think about Dale Jr. not having a contract extension with NBC done already? Do you think he resigns or sets out and joins one of the new TV partners in 25?
I know he said on his podcast that he'd like to get a deal worked out with NBC, but I also know that it's probably not as prevalent, since they copied us and went with the YouTube side of things this year. And I don't know. I mean, they got Amazon and TNT coming in, so I mean, I'm sure they're would probably want to pay a pretty penny for Dale Jr. to come broadcast because that's going to draw a lot of viewership just having his
Right.
name attached to something.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I feel like we talked about this a few
like I
weeks
said,
ago. Is like,
yeah,
Junior
NBC'd be
said.
stupid not to sign him back, but
yeah, and he said that NBC was his first choice.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess all they really have to do is ask and say, hey, will you come back? And he'd be like, yeah, sure. But I know that he is open to other...
endeavors.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, my brain.
So yeah, I think obviously NBC is would be the first choice and the overall choice.
I think if he doesn't go to NBC, it'd be Amazon.
But I almost wonder, is he trying to work out a multi-partner deal?
That would not be bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, you think about if he does one either TNT or Amazon, and then does NBC as well. So now, again, I don't know what his schedule is. I don't know what he's looking at or what the numbers are or why they haven't made a deal. But,
I don't think that he would be retiring out of it.
Yeah, I don't see him not.
I don't.
Being a broadcaster in 2025.
It's bad for NASCAR if Dale Jr. is not a part of it like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one
feel
of
like
the
that
big
would
things.
Drop viewership a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I would say that I would say they get a deal done. I just don't know what kind of deal we're gonna see, or he gets a deal in some aspect, because we obviously know the Fox booth is set, but nobody's talked about anything for TNT or for Prime, and then NBC. Who knows at this point?
How many weeks does NBC have? Again?
Be 28. It's 14.
So they still
next
have
year.
a little bit.
And 2025
Yeah, I
is
think
14.
they have the majority.
So, well, it's 14 for Fox, 5 for Prime, 5 for TNT, 14 for NBC. So, and then for the this year's contract, I think it's split 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it starts at Nashville in June. So, and then they'll have it through the end of the year. So that would make it 18.
So they still have a little bit to make a decision.
Yeah.
I just feel like they would have finalized a deal by now.
I think that about the charter agreement too, but that's still ongoing. And they hired that guy that got all the college football players' money. I think he got the women's soccer team or something, all their money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll have to see how they do that. Not going to happen at all, but I'd love a Junior Clint, Kevin Hart booth on the Fox side. Yeah, but you can't get rid of Mike Joy though.
I mean, you wouldn't have to. On NBC, they got Burton, Jr., Steve Letarte, and Rick Allen all in the booth. They do 4 people on the NBC side. I mean, that's not completely impossible. That's kind of plausible.
Yeah, I mean that's it wouldn't be a bad booth. That would be a fun. I don't know. I don't know if I want Clint and Dale in the same booth.
I don't know. I kind of do.
Slide job.
That's one way to
here they
keep the
come
race
up the curb.
entertaining, to have the two of them, you know,
I feel like it
because
would be
Burton's
entertaining.
kind of mellow.
Yeah.
But having even having Harvick, Boyer, and Dale in the booth, that would be extremely comical.
That would be cool.
It would probably be pretty funny.
I'd laugh.
So-
I'd watch just for that.
That'd be worth. Yeah, just the broadcast itself would be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's a lot of people's main complaint about the races is the broadcast just aren't it. And if you had all them fools up there, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned into a comedy show. But
Speaking of just the broadcast in the last few weeks, I absolutely love having Kevin Harvick up there. I think I said that after the Clash, but like still, he just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just nice
he's
having a fresh
extremely
perspective.
good
yeah,
at commentating.
He's very analytical.
I cannot think today. I am so sorry.
I know what you meant.
Thank you. I appreciate it because I apparently didn't.
I do like his analytical side though. Like
Yes, and
yeah.
he offers a fresher perspective on the racing.
Yeah, I mean, coming straight out of the Cup car into the booth.
And just being
definitely
like,
helps
this
with that,
is
too.
what happened, and this is what happens in those cars,
Because, I mean,
and XYZ.
We've had Tony, we've had Jeff. Obviously, Boyer's been in there for a minute. But
Right, but
none
he's
of
been in
them
there for a minute.
none of them has raced the next gen car, the Gen 7 car.
Only Harvick has.
Well, Harvick did. So,
Oh my gosh.
New thing that we're introducing this season is we have our own NASCAR Fantasy League on the
Oh,
NASCAR
yes.
app.
yes. Yes, we do have a NASCAR Fantasy League. Guys,
We're not going to talk about who hasn't joined yet.
yeah, we won't talk about that. I'll just push her out of the frame. But, yeah, go ahead and join. It is Gas on the Right podcast on the NASCAR app. If you download the NASCAR app from Google Play or the App Store, you just go to Fantasy once you create your account, and then you can search us at Gas is on the Right podcast. Join our Fantasy League. We are going to have prizes for the Fantasy League winner. And one thing that's going to be with those prizes is we're going to let you guys pick what the prize may be. But we will also include some merch. So that would be like a Gas is on the Right podcast t-shirt or a Gas is on the Right podcast hat.
Or
as
sticker?
well. Or stickers as well. And or stickers. We'll put an
And
in
or
there.
stickers,
We
there you
mentioned all
go.
three, plus whatever the grand prize ends up being that we pick. So make sure that you share that and spread that so that we can get a good fantasy league going. We already got 5 guys in there, so let's keep joining. She'll be 6 whenever she decides to download the app.
Alan
So-
told me that I could pick Kyle Busch every week.
Yep.
Only 10 times.
It's only
It
10.
has a limit on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
my bad.
You can only use people 10 times.
He read the rules, I didn't. So, but
That's it. I'm not joining.
yeah, now's the time. So we'll be promoting it throughout this week and try to get that those people joined in.
It was
And
fun for me to keep up with during the race, just seeing like how ever changing the standings were. Because at one point I was way in the lead, and then I was way in last, and then I think I ended up finishing 3rd.
Oh, Alan did the same thing. We were sitting there, and even though we were behind, we allowed ourselves to look at the stats once.
yep.
One time during the race, we looked at how they were looking, and he was like, I have to pick my garage pick.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap, because I thought
I had to
put
change.
Burton.
I had to change my garage pick out after lap 6 because I had Harrison Burton in there.
Well, I thought I had put Burton in there, and I was like, oh crap, I need to swap him out. And then I was like, oh, I didn't. I'm good. So
Yeah, that was...
we were solid on my side. But also, along with the Fantasy League guys, if you did not listen to last week's episode, we are sponsoring a Legends car out in California this year for Tyler Batsianis. Batsianis.
There you go.
I am so sorry, Tyler. I just keep butchering your name every week. I'll eventually get it right.
I was going to say,
But-
we'll eventually get it.
Yeah.
That was the one question I asked him.
Yeah, you guys stay tuned. We're going to do a Splash and Go segment and interview with him in the coming weeks, talking about his racing and upbringing in racing, what's got him racing, and just what his season's going to look like. So, and I have his schedule now with dates. So he will be racing starting March 23rd at All-American Speedway in Roseville, California. Then April 20th at Stockton 99. Then May 4th at All-American, June 1st, and June 1st at All-American as well. July 3rd at Stockton 99. August 24th, September 7th, and rounding out the season October 5th, all will be at All-American Speedway for the track championship this year. So be on the lookout. We will be posting pictures of the car very soon once we get the logos out to him and he has them on there. So
We will be posting the schedule as well on all of our social media.
Yes, we will have the schedule posted, and also look into our description and comment section. We have his Instagram. Go give him a follow and a like at Tyler_B_racing on Instagram. So give him a follow. We're giving him some West Coast or East Coast love. So give him some love with us if you don't mind. But yeah, so we got Tyler on board with the podcast crew.
I was going to say, Daniel, we have a very specific question just for you. Oh, never mind. You already answered it. Well, we're just going to skip over that. Daniel does not know if the Fantasy League resets at playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it'll reset. I think it'll just be playoff picks. Like, you can just pick playoff drivers.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back over the
Does that mean I can
rules
pick
thing on
Kyle
it.
Busch more than 10 times?
Maybe.
If he makes the playoffs.
Don't say if. Don't be putting that bad juju out there.
So,
Positive thinking, manifestation.
well, guys,
What do you expect out of the Atlanta race this weekend?
I expect another banger.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How much do you think the surface has worn since the last time they raced there? Because in the Xfinity series, the way their package was, it was a lot different than the way the Cup cars raced.
the fact of the crappy weather that we've had in Georgia this winter, I think it's worn pretty good.
I was gonna say.
So, since last
Which is
July,
crazy to me that
I
they're
think
not
it's-
going to have any practice at that racetrack, because that's one of those that you kind of need to
Oh.
have that.
They got 10 minutes to practice pit entry.
To practice just pit entry?
Yeah, because you enter on turn 3.
Yeah, but I guess.
That's the only practice you get, though.
Are you serious?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to tell how much you're going to have to let out in the corners and just going in there kind of blind. I don't know. I just
How
feel like
much sliding you're
they
gonna
need to
have.
up that to at least like a 30-minute practice or something,
Yeah,
Are we
they
sitting
got.
in front of the pits again this year?
Yeah,
Heck
yeah,
yes.
we're sitting in the same exact spot we were at in the summer.
I'm so excited.
So-
I love, that's where all the wrecks happened, was entering pit row last year.
So, but yeah,
Atlanta's a really good race now.
oh,
Which, I mean,
really good.
before it was a
I-
good race for the racers. It just wasn't a good TV product,
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, I feel like
I'm
if
curious
they
to
would've
see
kept
how
it
it progresses.
with the next gen cars, I feel like it'd be a phenomenal race, even with the old configuration.
yeah, because mile and a halfs are such a good race now.
Yeah,
Which, like I said, I've said it last year, but I'll say it again this year. I think one race should be the super speedway package, and they should have another race at the mile and a half package just to see how different, or at least test a different package there to see if you put the mile and a half package versus super speedway package, what changes, if you're
Right.
still able to drive the same way. But
yeah, I don't know. I wonder
probably
if the
won't ever
banking is
happen.
just too much. So, but we'll have to see. I mean, if they turn it into fuel mileage races, they may do it.
They may.
Something to fix a fuel mileage race.
But I'm excited for Atlanta. I
Oh.
love Atlanta.
Which I don't
Atlanta,
remember
if somebody
Atlanta-
ever asked me, it's going to be my first NASCAR race, where should I go? I always tell them Atlanta.
Yeah,
It's a great track now that they've redone it.
yes,
it
solid
was
product.
really it was a good track before, but I mean, it puts on a better TV product now.
I mean, even an in-person product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're watching. So where we sat, you watch them come out of turn 4, and with how tight the track is on that banking, I mean, you run three rows. If they're 3 deep, dude, you're on the apron, you're in the middle, and you're at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
With no space for. If you have a 4th lane going, you better pucker up and squeeze them cheeks, buddy. 'Cause-
I wish Great Clips would sponsor the Xfinity race again like they used to, because you could go, and if you got a haircut at Great Clips, you got 2 free tickets to the race. And I used to do that every year. That's what I've probably been to Atlanta the most out of any racetrack, just because I'd go get a $15 haircut and get 2 free tickets,
yeah. So I wish.
See, I haven't been anywhere. I mean, up until, May? I'll be nowhere but Atlanta and Dega.
Yeah, then we got Charlotte in May.
And we have Charlotte in May. I'm so excited.
So I've done Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega, and Phoenix.
I got Atlanta, Talladega, Phoenix. We got Charlotte booked. We're gonna book Bristol. Probably gonna book Martinsville this year.
Oh, we added on another race.
So yeah, if Martinsville's pans out, but the way that our fall is gonna end up going is it's you got Atlanta, we're back home. Bristol, we're back home. Talladega, we're back home. Be every other week we'll be at a race.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to talk Ashley into doing Bristol and maybe Nashville.
Ooh,
This year.
Nashville, I feel like would be really good.
Oh yeah, they've been promoting the hell out of Atlanta too. Like every commercial, it's the Dell Jr. Like if anybody asks where I'm going, I'm sending them here. So, but he also they'll like put his Twitter tag up as like hottest NASCAR ticket on the schedule or something like
yeah,
that.
they'll put his tweet up that he.
His tweet after the summer race though.
That summer race
Freaking
was
solid.
great.
Dude, I'm upset. That
I mean,
it's not a
every
summer
race
night
since they've repaved it has been amazing.
Yeah, I think other than last year's spring race, which was still really good.
Because that's what we went. Me and you went, Alan, when Corey LaJoy emerged himself as a front runner at Atlanta when Elliott put him in the fence, coming to the checkered and won the race.
Yeah, Elliott won, and then we didn't go to the spring race because it was 45 degrees last year. But we went to the summer race, the night race.
Cold Atlanta.
Dude, yeah, cold Atlanta.
Which is supposed to be in the 70s this weekend. So it should be pretty good weather down there.
I was looking.
I was so
when I got
worried.
home from work, I caught the end of the news, and they said it was supposed to be sunny, 65, and 0% chance of rain. So we may actually get a scheduled NASCAR race.
Sun's out, BB guns out.
Yeah, NASCAR 1, rained 4.
Yep. So, but yeah, we will be there at Atlanta this weekend with some good weather. Finally, a race that should happen on time.
Don't jinx it now.
Looking forward to Atlanta. So from there,
Do we want to talk about how our picks panned out this week?
Oh, they panned out so bad.
Daniel, we'll start with the bottom and go up. That bus is just rolling.
This is the reverse of last year. Last year, I started off whipping your tail.
Yeah,
I almost
you went
started
up
this
10-0.
year whipping y'all's tail. I just want that known.
I mean, you almost still did after Denny Hamlin got wrecked.
Dude, you almost took it away.
Dude, the race ended, and Ellen goes, "I don't know if you beat me."
Yeah, because I never saw where Hamlin ended up because I knew that he was on the DVP. But
we had to look it up after to
I was
see
like-
who won between me and him.
Because the way he slapped the fence, I was like, "There's no way he didn't just break a toe link." And there's no way that he didn't just have a totally broke with how he got hit.
That's what, as soon as he wrecked, I was like, I wonder how many laps Jimmy Johnson is down to where does Allen even have a chance? If
Dude, the summer race though,
That summer race
freaking
was
solid.
great.
Dude, I'm upset. That
I
it's
mean,
not a
every
summer
race
night
since they've repaved it has been amazing.
Yeah, I think other than last year's spring race, which was still really good.
Because that's what we went. Me and you went, Alan, when Corey LaJoy emerged himself as a front runner at Atlanta when Elliott put him in the fence, coming to the checkered and won the race.
Yeah, Elliott won, and then we didn't go to the spring race because it was 45 degrees last year. But we went to the summer race, the night race.
Cold Atlanta.
Dude, yeah, cold Atlanta.
Which is supposed to be in the 70s this weekend. So it should be pretty good weather down there.
gonna be
I was
amazing.
looking.
I was so
When I got
worried.
home from work, I caught the end of the news, and they said it was supposed to be sunny, 65, and 0% chance of rain. So we may actually get a scheduled NASCAR race.
Sun's out, BB guns out.
Yeah. NASCAR 1, rained 4.
Yep. So, but yeah, we will be there at Atlanta this weekend with some good weather. Finally, a race that should happen on time. But
Don't
yeah,
jinx it now.
looking forward to Atlanta. So from there,
Do we want to talk about how our picks panned out this week?
Oh, they
Well,
planned out so bad.
Daniel, we'll start with the bottom and go up. That bus is just rolling.
This is the reverse of last year. Last year I started off whipping your tail.
Yeah, you
Then
I
this year-
almost
You went up
started this
10-0.
year whipping y'all's tail. I just want that
I
known.
mean, you almost still did after Denny Hamlin got wrecked.
Dude, you almost took it away.
Dude,
So-
the race ended and Alan goes, I don't know if you beat me.
Yeah, because I never saw where Hamlin ended up because I knew that he was on the DVP.
We had to look it up after
I
to
was
see
like-
who won between me and him.
Because the way he slapped the fence, I was like, "There's no way he didn't just break a toe link, and there's no way that he didn't just have a toe link broke with how he got hit."
That's what, as soon as he wrecked, I was like, I wonder how many laps Jimmy Johnson is down to where does Allen even have a chance if Denny Hamlin doesn't make it? And I saw he was only like 4 laps down, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, is she really about to go 2-0 up on us?
Dude,
I was like sitting there and I was like, come on.
yeah, I
Be
mean,
broken,
it was,
be broken.
please. Let's see here. I just want to see how many laps down he was, if it'll show.
I think Hamlin finished on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, he finished 19th, so 9 better than Jimmy. Jimmy finished 28th, but I don't know how many laps down he
My
was.
boy Jimmy.
And
So
Harrison
much
finished
problem.
39th.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude,
Hey, at least it wasn't last.
there you go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a solid 19th place finish locked me in. First win of the season for me. Woo woo. So we'll drive into. You guys want to drive into Atlanta picks?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alan.
All right. So, taking a note out of Daniel's book because this is a part of his amazing 10-win run. I'm going to put Corey LaJoie as my pick for Atlanta. And just to back that up is just his Atlanta stats the past 2 years since the next gen era. And looking at how he performed at Talladega this weekend with a 4th place finish and a possible winning car, I feel very confident in that lock. So
I feel like you should lose a point because you confused Daytona and Talladega.
I didn't even notice you did that.
I didn't
Yep.
notice I did that.
Your pick last week
It's-
doesn't
it's
count.
towards the end of the episode and the glass is empty. I'm sorry. So what?
Pick last week doesn't count.
Oh,
I won.
well, Emily, you are up on picks.
I am going to bet on a rookie this week. I'm going to go Zane Smith.
I can get down with that.
I was about to say.
Elaborate.
Elaborate?
Yeah, why?
I thought I actually said this a lot to Alan during the duels is he was doing a lot better than I expected him to. I was very impressed sorry. Very impressed at where he was as a rookie. Let's see, what did he finish last week? I think it was 13th. Yeah, I was right. So he finished 13th, but he was up there running.
Those Spire cars are fast.
He was running with the pack.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
For a rookie, he was doing really good. So,
I mean,
putting my faith in him. I feel like he's a better pick than Harrison Burton as a rookie because someone always crashes Harrison.
so, well, Mr. Daniel.
Who are you picking?
Save the best for last again. I'm going with Harrison Burton. I'm just kidding. This week, I'm going to pick Chase Briscoe.
Solid.
Chase Briscoe.
Because
Please elaborate.
he's the veteran driver at Stewart Haas, and I feel like this is a good chance for him to break out and prove why he should be the leader of the Stewart Haas camp.
Okay.
I could see that.
So, I'll give you that, and I'll give you that leader of the Stewart Haas camp as well, for sure. Top 10 finish at Daytona as well.
Yeah, he did
So-
have a top 10 finish. Now, I will say Zane Smith did finish right alongside Briscoe, Larson, Busch, and Elliott, and Truex.
I think he got some stage points too.
So he was right in there. Was he? Hold on.
Let's see.
Did he get some stage points?
He led a lap.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's check it right here. No stage points in stage 2. No stage points.
He didn't get any stage points.
So.
But I mean, he was right. He was in the front of the pack
Hey,
most of the
mean,
race.
if you want to look at it this way, he's 14th in the playoff standings right now. Does not matter because we've only had 1 week of racing.
1 weekend, but
But yeah, so definitely we're gonna have some fun racing this weekend in Atlanta. Anybody got any closing thoughts or anything?
I feel like we have solid picks. We're about to get real competitive this
I feel
week.
like this is gonna be an interesting week. So, you got anything else, Daniel, you want to add?
no.
All right. Well, I reckon we'll call it a night, guys, and we will see you guys next week.